And welcome to Nashville Superspeedway qualifying, just getting underway for the Sidewinder Racing League's Fort Worth Screen Printing Xfinity Series. Just kicking off their playoffs. Should be a good time tonight. See the yellow stripes on the front and the rear spoilers, and you have the name banner across the windshield also in yellow, that Fort Worth Screen Printing gold as you would call it. Here we see it on the 97. As he makes his way through turn number 3, heading to the front stretch. Kick off his first time lap in the 97. Lucas Weissman, one of the contenders for the playoffs. We got 10 playoff cars here tonight. So far, 2 have not shown up, but 10 are here, ready to do battle at Nashville. Will, what are your thoughts on the race tonight?
The track temperature's rising. It's now 190 Fahrenheit.
Tracks. It's different to all of them in that it's concrete. It's very hard on exits of turns, whereas I find that intermediates are usually more tricky on the entry. So it's different to all the intermediates, but it still drives pretty similarly.
The guy behind has just done a 30.9.
It's more inviting to pack racing than most of the mile and a halves, in my opinion. So we could see a bit of that tonight.
So you think we'll see a little bit of pack racing on this? What was it, 1.2 mile, I believe?
1 1/3. I think we'll see a bit of pack racing. A couple of yellows. I think we might see quite a few yellows if the cars are together, and especially as we just saw Lucas go around on his qualifying lap. I think that could bring out a couple of yellows, as the exit of 2 and the exit of 4 are very slidey and very easy to lose the rear.
It looks like he was conservative on his first lap, really went for it on the second lap and lost it a little bit there. Hoytsma still sitting on top of the board at the moment, though. Just ahead of this car, the 19, Justin Wilkinson puts his car second until Wes Parker jumps up and takes that away by 0.02 of a second over his 10-10's teammate. Travis Martin slots his car in third, then quickly gets off track. So we have no one to show you. There's the 69 of Jay Munchell, currently P5. The Arc.io Toyota. He has completed his run, bringing his car back to pit road. Playoff contender Cody Cliver, number 4 Autodesk Ford Mustang. Out there completing his second lap. First lap at a 31:38. See if he can pick up lap 2. Cliver does pick up to a 31:16, moves him up to 7th spot, but Blake Giglio, meanwhile, has jumped up to P2 on his first lap with a 30.93. Top 5 so far are the only cars under the 31 seconds. See if Giglio can pick it up on his second lap. Giglio a little bit slower, down in the 31s on the second lap, so his first lap will be the one of record. Corey Deal finishes his runoff by smacking the wall. Crew's going to have to repair that car before the race.
That's another thing about this track, and probably why we saw Lucas pushing so hard on the second. It's a bit like Talladega in the next gen, where your first lap is really what's going to count unless you really throw the kitchen sink at it second time round.
Ethan Evers qualifies his car in the 11th spot and comes to a sliding halt. JR Deal just sitting on pit road, soaking up the sun. I believe JR and Lucas, the only 2 cars even on track, both sitting on pit road after completing only 1 lap. Everyone else has not posted a time. TJ Floyd has connected, so that means only 1 playoff driver not present tonight. Clint Roberts in the 87 has not made an entry yet. 30 seconds left for him to keep his playoff hopes alive. Or he could come back next week and win, so there is that possibility. Never know. I know the playoff points matter for everybody, but Will Spark wrecked you? Oh no. What do you think of that, Will?
When was that, Corey?
Which time?
Wow.
That's going to do it for qualifying. No other cars on track, so Lucas Hoytsman is going to be our pole sitter to get the playoffs started here in Nashville. No surprises there. Hoytsman and Giglio the top two. Pretty much as expected. Wes Parker,
Hi guys,
we thought would be a little bit
welcome,
stronger.
Welcome to the hold on.
Fort Worth screen printing.
Guys, welcome to Nashville Super Speedway. We have 143 laps. You got 6 total sets. Use them wisely. Stage is going to be on lap 30.
30.
Other than that, thanks for coming out. Let's get this playoff started with a bang, and have a good race, everybody.
A safe bang, not a violent bang. Alright, so lap 30 is our stage. Stage points being awarded to the top 10. All important moving forward through the playoffs. You want to start our rundown there with the front row, Will?
Yeah, on the front row, unsurprisingly, we got the CTC teammates, Lucas Oisman and Blake Giglio.
Second row, we have Wes Parker and Travis Martin, a couple of 10-10s cars.
And behind them, you got Travis. No, we've already said that. Justin Wilkinson and Corey Deal.
A couple more 10-10s teammates. And then row 4, you have Joel Munchell and Cody Cliver, the 69 Arc.io Toyota and the number 4 Autodesk Mustang.
Behind them, you got William Smith and Cliff Mullins in 9th and 10th.
You have Ethan Evers and Jeremy Scherer on the 6th row.
Behind them, you have J.R. Deal and Daniel Llewellyn.
And rounding out our field, we have TJ Floyd and Scott Elston on the 8th row. Hopefully our timing screen updates here as they soon roll off pit road. I may have to reload the theme. Well, Clint got pushed into the playoffs. I don't think he knows he was in the playoffs. Did Edwards sign up not to race? That's pretty much the gist of it. Edwards on the sign-up sheet, not in the race. I guess with some cars not getting on the grid yet, we are still waiting for Corey and Daniel to get on track. Both of which are in chat right now.
Well, Blake's rolling. We're all on the grid and we're rolling away now.
Alright, everybody made it in. I got the Ford Mustang GT pace car tonight, a little bit of a throwback. Edwards. Might be what we move to be honest, Edwards. We'll see. Something worth discussing as we move towards next season. Looks like we have one lap for pace laps. I'm going to reload our theme pretty quickly here, as it is not showing up properly. Happens sometimes when you first get in. We are getting set for the start of the race. Hoytsma has to wait until we get to the green flag. 143 laps and we are underway from Nashville. Hoytsma gets a great push from Wes Parker, gets cleared out into the lead. Leaving Giglio to fight Parker for second. Giglio now does clear by Parker. Parker and Ghostman side by side for the third spot. See a gaggle of those 10-10s cars piled up there together. To win battle for the third spot as Giglio and Hoytsma get away.
There's already that pack racing behind them that I was talking about earlier. A couple guys too wide, someone almost pushed it 3. Decided against it off the exit of 4, which I think is a wise decision.
This early in the race, not too much point in pushing it that hard. Scherer and Llewellyn up the track. Looks like he's able to keep it off the wall, but definitely not the optimal line running through that end of the racetrack. Still side by side. The rest of the field already quickly single file. Llewellyn able to get by Scherer, moves Scherer back to the 14th spot. Llewellyn very close to the outside wall and corner exit, coming to the start-finish line. At turn number 4 exit, not usually the one you worry about here, but as far as pushing, but there he was. Llewellyn once again up the track. That Camaro not handling the way to his liking at this point. Scherer able to get back underneath him. Hoytsma out front sets a fastest lap time of 31.02. Oh, Llewellyn, big slide coming out of the corner. Turn 4, catching the 23 off guard. Able to keep it going straight. Let's see here, TJ Floyd is... Looks like Floyd may have a little bit of right side damage. Yeah, it's playoff contender TJ Floyd. A little bit of right side damage to that 49 machine. Didn't catch anything on the start of the race, but looks like he has found the wall or found the competitor. So early in the race, playoff contender TJ Floyd already running into some trouble. Out front, Lucas Hoytsman's put a gap over Blake Giglio, now about 7/10 of a second. Wes Parker right on the back of that 16, trying to find a way by. Giglio is traded in the rocket colors for the premier setup shop. Still the same group of people, just the new branding. Good to see them continuing to support our guy Blake Giglio there. Then he comes the 10/10 train. All these Toyotas painted up fairly similarly, just different colors, same scheme. The 22 of Parker, the 63 of Travis Martin. See all of them have their yellow windshield banners on for the playoffs. Justin Wilkinson in the 5th spot in the 19. Jay Munch, he is part of this group, but he has his own paint that he put together. Got the Arc.io look. He's been working hard on that scheme, and he was really proud to be able to debut it tonight in the playoffs. And then another 10/10 car, Corey Deal in 7th. And Cody Cliver breaking up that Toyota party in that Ford Mustang, sitting in 8th. William Smith sits in the 9th spot, another 10/10 machine, also in the playoffs. Ethan Evers coming over from Elite Performance Industries. He's sitting in the top 10 right now. New to the series, so not in the playoffs, but getting his footing, and hopefully we'll see him back next season to make a full season run. Cliff Mullins is Spitting Venom Chevrolet. Always fun on the podcast. He is sitting in the 11th spot, battling with JR Deal, another one of those 10/10 machines. JR now clears Mullins, takes over that spot briefly, then gets up the track, up into Cliff Mullins. You hear JR profusely apologizing.
And as that was happening, Wesley Parker has gone underneath and taken second spot from Blake Giglio.
And starting to pull away. Giglio maybe holding up the Toyotas a little bit here. As I say that, Martin falls back a little bit. Giglio may be learning something from Wes Parker there. He's got about a tire width a little bit lower than Parker going through the corner there in 3 and 4. It's always interesting to see the different lines that the drivers come up with. See Giglio right on that yellow line. Parker that lap much higher. Working lap 10 of 143 tonight. These laps do go by fairly quickly. Bill, do you have any estimate on a fuel run here tonight?
Been trying to work it out from memory around the 20-ish to 25 lap mark.
Alright, something to keep an eye on as we progress forward through the race. I would have guessed 25 to 30, so I'm going to say lower end of mine, upper end of yours. Probably pretty close.
Approximately 25 laps.
Ish. We'll go with the big ish. Hoytsman still enjoying that clean air out front. Got a half-second lead over Wes Parker in 2nd. Giglio now has fallen to the 3rd spot. Travis Martin riding 4th. Justin Wilkinson in 5th. Not a whole lot going on up front. Looks like they're trying to log some laps for the most part. Got J Munch in 6th. Corey Deal closing in on his back bumper. Looking to his inside as they cross the start-finish line. Corey Deal going to take it down inside turn number 1. See if he can get clear. He is able to get that 44 machine up in front of Joel Munchel. So that will move Corey Deal to the 6th spot. J Munch back to 7th. C. Pablo up to the 6th spot. C. Cliver and William Smith behind them. That battle's starting to heat up as well. That would be for the 8th position. And William Smith sends it down low. Cliver trying to get that run off the high side, maintain the position. Able to do so for now as we head down the backstretch. And Smith tucks in the line. Just follows the number 4 for a little bit. Things seem relatively calm at this point. Kind of expected that with such a long lap count there. Things just kind of settle in for the early stages. Would that be your thoughts as well, Bill?
Yeah, start to settle in, and then once everyone's got their footing, big slide for Hoytsma.
Big slide there.
Once everyone's got their footing and knows what they're doing, first we might get a green flag pit stop or two, and then there could be a wreck, there could be a yellow. There very almost was there for Lucas. Once we see a yellow or two, everyone will start racing a little harder because they know the limit to this track. It's a relatively new track, not just to iRacing, but really to NASCAR, and yeah, it's an interesting track, and it does have the long run being more important.
Parker's starting to reel in our leader. Just inching away little by little. Especially with that big slide we saw out of Hoytsma out of 4. Could be that Hoytsma maybe felt that and is trying to take it a little easier, or it could be that his tires might be already giving up a little bit towards the 22's tires here. But he has got it within 0.2 and is looking for the lead as we head down the front stretch. Wes Parker starting 3rd. Just taking his time, working methodically towards the front of the field. All over now the back of that 97, just hounding our leader. Across the line to get lap 19 underway. Parker looking to the inside, going through turn 1. Hoytsma's probably seen him coming. Don't know how much of a fight he will put up at this point. Parker giving plenty of room to Hoytsma. May have slowed down his procession there a little bit.
As long as Hoytsma can stay on one of his quarter panels, he'll usually get that really big run as long as he doesn't slide out of 4, which he hasn't, so he'll get a bit of a run back and maybe be able to go back around the outside of Parker into turn 1.
Looks like they're putting the side draft to use. I'm a little surprised. That's allowed Giglio to close back in. That's why I was surprised. I kind of thought Hoytsma might just kind of not contest it too much and keep that gap over Giglio. Now we're filed out. And Giglio's trying to get up there and make a little noise in the 16.
Could be a little element of team racing there as well.
Could be. I feel like even though they're teammates, though, they're also rivals between those two. They end up first and second a lot. So they love beating one another. So a little 3-car battle for the lead now. I don't have a graphic for that. So now that Parker is out front, will he be able to squeak away a little bit, or is he going to just do enough to stay in front of Hoytsma and try to conserve his tire? See Hoytsma once again sliding coming out of 4. Labor 12 Chevy is sideways.
Parker got a little bit of a slide as well, and he tapped the wall there as well, so they're both all over the place a little bit, and that's bringing Giglio right back into this battle.
See behind, Travis Martin's got a little separation from Justin Wilkinson, so he's starting to inch towards this 3-car scrum. Perhaps we could see a 4-car battle. Giglio looking to the inside of Hoytsma. Not quite there at the moment. Just giving Hoytsma something to look at in his mirror. Looks like Giglio's taking a little higher entry into 1 and 2, then runs it lower on exit of 2. Gives him a straighter line down the backstretch. I think he does the opposite at this end. It's always fun to analyze the differences in the drivers' lines, just what they do different. All green so far, quickly clicking the laps off here at Nashville.
Parker's starting to pull away a bit. There's that battle you were talking about between Hoytsma and Giglio. Is it starting to take its toll on them?
I believe the 97 is backing up the corner a little bit more than a 16, so it keeps appearing like it's going to be an opportunity for Giglio, and then Hoytsma squirts away on corner exit. Rather entertaining battle though between these two. Wes Parker enjoys seeing it in his mirror. Let those two battle and he can conserve his stuff up front. You can hear the tire scream off that 97. He's definitely working those tires. Giglio looks to the inside as they go through turn numbers 3 and 4. He is going to clear him. Giglio, power move to the bottom, gets by Hoytsma. Hoytsma gave him the bottom. Unable to keep his momentum around the top side, so Giglio gets clear into second. Now Wes Parker out front, Giglio second, Hoytsma third. We'll see if Giglio can run down Parker or if Travis Martin can run down Hoytsma. He's been making his ground up. Martin always a long run kind of guy.
And looks like we're getting towards the end of a fuel run here. We could start seeing green flag pit stops any lap now.
Yeah, I think we're going to be like 30-ish, 33 maybe, somewhere in there. Just based on no one has mentioned it yet. I'm sure they're all in their radio chatter, in their individual team channels. So we're not going to go down there and spy on them so that people that are watching the race don't give away any secrets.
We do have the entire 10/10ths team to choose from for interviews, but I'm not sure there's going to be cautions.
I might pull them in green flag, we'll just see. Just surprise them. As long as they're not in a crazy battle or anything. We do have this great battle going on for 15th between TJ Floyd and Daniel Llewellyn. Llewellyn gets on the apron a little bit. Not going to be able to get alongside Floyd doing that. Drifts up the track. We'll have to run him back down now. They were very close together, but they are not far in front of our leaders. They're going to have to get themselves sorted in a hurry.
Now that Giglio's gotten rid of Hoytsma, he's starting to charge back towards Parker.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it was Parker just kind of relaxing or if Giglio's actually got the speed to chase him down. It looks like he's actually going to chase him down. I don't think Parker's saving anything at this point. See, Giglio had a lower exit, very straight, didn't work the tire too hard.
Another big slide for Lucas in the background, tapped the wall a little as well.
Uh-oh. See if we can see any damage on that 97. Don't see anything significant on there. Should be alright. But he is under fire from Travis Martin, the Ghost Man. Reeling in the 97 as the battle for the lead heats up as well. Giglio looking to the inside of Parker, coming across the start-finish.
Coming up on the lap car, Llewellyn as well.
Llewellyn is teammates to that 16 car. See if Llewellyn can get out of everybody's way. And he does so.
Moves right down below. 3 wide for a second. Giglio's going to take the bottom.
Giglio to the lead.
Clear Parker for the lead.
Parker now ducks in behind Giglio. Maybe he can go to school, pick up a thing or two from the line he's running. Meanwhile, Hoytsma once again a little out of control coming out of turn number 4. Maybe that's the way he likes it. Seen him stepping out just about every time as his teammate runs him up the track. Daniel Llewellyn gets up into Lucas Hoytsma a little bit. Travis Martin checked up big time after Lucas Hoitzma did. That's actually going to cost Martin the spot. Is Corey Deal able to get by as Hoitzma and Travis Martin checked up? We know Martin was frustrated with lap traffic in the race last night. Once again, it's biting him a little bit tonight. I know.
We don't talk about that.
I was going to say, I know Will doesn't really want to talk about that one.
Speaking of lap traffic, leaders coming up on the back of TJ Floyd.
Martin gets to the inside of Corey Deal, taking away the 4th spot, heading into turn 3. So he gets back to where he was before that ordeal went down. Llewellyn's taking his car to the pit.
Llewellyn has retired the car.
See TJ Floyd just in front of our leaders. That is a playoff driver, TJ Floyd, getting lapped on lap 34. We know he had that right side damage, car just not handling to his liking. Oh my goodness, Giglio getting very close to that wall.
Scraped it a little bit.
It's like William Smith, I didn't see what happened, but he was going very slow on track. Looks like his tires are very worn out. He's trying to make pit road. Maybe that's what happened the last time. He is a lap down now, and that's a playoff car struggling to make the pit road. That's going to bite him as he tries to make the next rounds. May put him 2 laps down. Our leader's not too far behind. Meanwhile, Cliff Mullins has come down for service and rejoined the race.
So we were about 10 laps off on the fuel runs.
Just about. Could be a tire run because our leaders are still full song on those engines. Giglio and Parker about 2/10 apart. Go ahead.
We did forget to mention the stage.
Was it lap 30?
Fitting.
See Cliver and Wilkinson are in the pits. That's Hoitzma, I believe, on the radio, saying he's going to be coming down.
Fitting.
That is Travis Martin, the 63, saying he's coming down. Keep an eye on our leaders if they come down, and Giglio does.
Giglio is down. Parker follows.
Both of them side by side onto the pit here. Be interesting to see who's got the first pit stall. They could have to cross over one another. I think Giglio was second and Parker was third, so it should be okay. Parker's going to have to cut back right at the back bumper.
On the stage, Parker did win the stage just barely, as it was turn 1 of lap 31 that Giglio made the pass for the lead.
Both of them make their box cleanly. No one had to back up. Our top 4 right there on the pit road. 63, 22, 16, and 97. All coming down on lap 37, going on 38.
Giglio wins the race off pit road, Parker second.
So that'd be something to keep an eye on as we head forward. It's about 37 laps.
Travis Martin has jumped up into third off of pit road. Hoitzma behind, and Corey Deal has fallen into net fifth.
Still on track, the 85 Scott Elston, not having come down pit road yet, as has JR Deal.
85 pitting this lap.
So those two stretching the tank a little bit longer.
Just as you say that, Scott's coming down pit road.
Got an extra 2 laps out of those tanks. JR Deal stays out for another lap. So JR Deal takes over the race lead of Scott Elston, brings his 85 car to pit road. So JR Deal leading the race, has 18 seconds over third place Blake Giglio. Blake will move up to second as he passes Elston's car on pit road.
Parker might be looking to take that from him here.
9 brings his car to pit road. Side by side, battle for second, which will be the battle for the lead. Parker to the inside of Giglio.
Giglio is very strong around the outside of tracks. I have learnt that the hard way before, and so he is very strong around the outside, and it will be tough for Parker to pass him.
Very different approach on the lines that time through. Parker went high on entry, drove it down low on exit, trying to get a run. While Giglio was kind of defensive down low, then kind of went high on exit. Scrubbed off a little bit of speed, allowed Parker to get back to his back bumper. JR Deal has made his pit stop and rejoined the race in 12th place. TJ Floyd currently 1 lap down. It looks like the 84 and 23 have both retired their cars. Tough night for Raunchy Fart. Bill Smith in the 84. Playoff driver out of the race. Not the way you want to start your playoffs. But if I'm correct on this, I believe the playoffs for this series are going to go all the way through all 5 races without a reset. So it's not as bad. You still got 4 races to try and make it up. Battle for the lead just continues to be entertaining. Parker not letting Giglio get away at all.
We approach 100 laps to go.
100 at the line. Almost a third of the way through this race already. This series is known to have a little bit longer races than we're used to, but this one moving by quickly as we've been green the entire time. Let's check out some other action going on as Hoytsma and Martin are nose to tail as well. So our top 4 very close together. Then you see Corey Deal in the background peeking in from the 5th spot. Only 4 tenths behind him. He has his teammate Justin Wilkinson. So we got 3 2-car battles at the front of this pack. See Parker trying to take that lower exit again. A little bit straighter off.
Martin and Hoytsma, they're closing in fast on the 2 in the front. This could be a 4-car battle pretty soon.
Yeah, they're definitely reeling him in. Margin's coming down quick. Now you can already see him in the picture. As we say that, Parker starts to take a look to the inside of Giglio. Perhaps Giglio is trying to save his stuff and slowed them both up a little bit.
I'm sorry, boys, for catching that. So.
Yep. That's what it was. Blake was wanting to save his stuff a little bit, and Parker was content to ride until Ghostman and Hoytsma showed up. Now Parker going to push that Toyota a little bit. 2 Toyotas and 2 Chevrolets in that front 4. Or as you call them, Holdens.
Yes, sir.
What are Toyotas there? Are they still
anymore.
Toyotas?
Yeah, we're still Toyota.
Okay. I mean, Nissans or Nissans there, so I don't know what anything is anymore.
There are also Nissans in Japan, so...
And the UK, and pretty much everywhere except the US. But you know how stubborn US people can be. Hoytsma had a brief look there.
Technically, as of a year ago, Holden isn't even Holden anymore, because it doesn't exist.
I know, what are you going to do with your life?
Chevy.
What about Opel? Wasn't there some conglomeration with like Opel and Vauxhall and Chevy?
Yeah, GM owns all of them. Opel, Vauxhall, Holden. Was all just Holden, Chevy in all the different countries.
There you go. Corey Deal on pit road. No, Corey Deal maybe with some network issues. 44 blinking in and out. He's got to get some better Wi-Fi to his trash can, as he calls it. See Pablo fix that net. Just happy to see he's still in 5th spot. I was going to say, that's really early for pit stops.
Would have only been about 10 laps into the run.
Yeah, not ideal at all. So this 4-car train for the lead. As Martin and Hoytsman have caught Giglio. Giglio hasn't let Parker get too far ahead. Appears these guys are just content to keep within reach of one another. Trying to log some laps to get towards the end of this one. Ghostman a little sluggish there off of the turn number 2. Not sure how much longer Hoytsman will be content to stay behind. You got the 44, Corey Deal, trying to close his way down. Currently 7/10 back to him. Hoytsman peeking to the inside of Ghostman. Thinks better of it. Now Martin might be letting him go here. Definitely went up a little bit, and that's not uncharacteristic for Travis. I think he let Hoytsman go there, didn't want to go as fast. As we said earlier, Martin very good at conserving his tires. You can see the 44 now closing in. That purple people eater. Now in the 5th spot. Trying to join this lead train. We've got a little bit of a gap now between 2nd and 3rd. Giglio now taking a peek under Parker. Perhaps Giglio thinks it's time to use up those tires he's been saving.
He did the same thing on the first run we had in this race. He saved for the first 10 to 20 laps of the run, and now he's starting to push hard. And that's where he got Parker back on the first run, and it looks like it's going to be where he's going to do it again.
Yeah, it looks like Giglio is able to maintain quite a lot of speed on corner exit, and that's just going to pay dividends as he's trying to make any passes out here. Was that somebody tagging the wall? You heard that wall noise, didn't you?
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Just don't see any evidence of it. All the right side's looking good on these machines.
Potentially could be to do with Corey Deal's internet.
It could be, that's a good point. Jumped all the way through the top 10, don't see any right side damage. Very strange. TJ still riding around. The only car off the lead lap, still on track. Trying to get anything he can. He didn't get much practice in there, so looks like he kind of just started this one and got a little damage early, and going to be a rough night for TJ, but he's hanging in there, hanging tough, trying to pick up whatever he can. That wounded machine. Up front, still have this battle between Parker and Giglio, maintaining right at that about 2/10 margin. Every once in a while, Giglio close right back in. I think he's going to take a look, and then he just rides. Parker taking that wider entry, Giglio wrapping the yellow line a little bit more. Contrasting styles. In that manner, it's going to give the 22 a better drive off, but the 16 could get his nose alongside and upset the line the 22 is trying to run. He gets a little bit more entry speed. Let's see if we have any other action on track. Corey Deal right on the back of Ghostman. Getting a report 49 may have had an issue here. It's like he's coming to pit road. And TJ Floyd brings his car to pit road on lap 56.
I got no chance, so good luck everybody.
TJ Floyd bringing his car to the pits, and he is done for the night, it sounds like. So that was playoff contender TJ Floyd's. 2 of our playoff drivers retiring their cars. William Smith and TJ Floyd going to finish 14th and 15th tonight. Back up front, Giglio's managed to inch in a little closer from 1700s to 11. He's just getting them little by little. Looks like Deal has gotten around Martin for that 4th spot. Move Corey Deal to 4th. Travis Martin slides back to 5th.
Gap back out to 2/10 for the lead.
Yeah, it changes every time they enter an exit corner, though. It's very entertaining. 1 minute, one will slip up a little bit and it'll shrink, and then we go back the other way. Giglio going to get a good run off the high side that time. See if he's able to peek to the inside or if he just rides in line. He takes it to the high side, trying to cut down, gets right on the back of Parker, actually slows his run down. He got there a little too quick, not able to get the run off the corner. Got right on his bumper. He had to check up a little bit, slowed his run down. Now Giglio starts the process all over again, trying to reel in that back bumper of Wes Parker. Got the lap car of Cher coming up. That is a playoff driver, riding in the 13th spot. If he gets by him, that'll leave 12 cars on the lead lap. Cher gets up out of the groove and out of the way. Lets these 2 battle for the lead. Cher hoping for a yellow while he's in that lucky dog position. Saving grace for that 15. He is already ahead of 2 of the other playoff drivers, and actually 3 with one of them missing the race tonight. So even with his struggles and being a lap down, he is still not out of it by any means. Parker and Giglio continuing to do battle. Hoytsman's now kind of on an island on his own. And then you see behind him, Travis Martin's gotten back around Corey Deal. Not sure what happened there. We missed that one while we were watching up front. I know Corey listens. If you want to tell us what happened, you're more than welcome to. Justin Wilkinson sitting in the 6th spot. His number 19 1010s machine.
I fucked up.
There you go. He said he fucked up. Ethan Evers currently 7th. Riding around with his Elite Performance Industries Chevrolet. Sitting in 7th spot. Joel Munchel currently enjoying the 8th spot. His Arc.io Toyota. Great looking machine there. Cody Cliver got the Autodesk Ford currently in 9th spot. About 2 seconds behind Joel Munch. Scott Elston is currently in the 10th spot.
Thanks, Jeremy.
JR Deal just going a lap down now. He is in the 11th spot. Working lap 66 here. Jeremy Scherer letting the 63 and 44 cars through. Cliff Mullins brings his car to pit road, taking service here about the same time. He was about 33, so this makes sense. 66 bringing his machine down. Corey Deal just hit the wall. Or did he scare the wall? Or did Martin hit the wall? Not sure why he said wall. Many reasons he could say wall. Maybe he meant John Wall. Jeremy hit the wall. There you go. The 15 car behind him. Cher struggling a little bit. I don't know how you tickle the wall here, Will. I think you either knock it down or you don't.
Yep. Well, Hoytsman's tickled the wall, per se, a couple of times, but usually, turn 4 like it was for Scherer there, you smack the wall, or you miss the wall entirely.
Seems to be the way it goes. But you're absolutely right. That's maybe what the good ones do, because Giglio's done the same. He's tickled the wall a couple times. Been moments where I thought he was going to just knock it down and keep on going to the next state over. but then he's able to reel it back in and just give it a little dusting. Parker getting a little bobble there off of turn 4. Giglio not able to capitalize, but the 22 definitely had a bobble off 4 there. All right, gentlemen, we're on the nice lap. Let's hear them.
Giglio's gotten into that spot again where he's right up on the bumper of Parker and can't really do anything with it. And he's done it again into 3 and 4. We'll see what he does as they come out of the trioval.
Yeah, I think he's trying to learn about where to time his run. Parker's trying to also learn where to play his defense. Giglio gets to his
Giglio.
inside. Parker, is he going to be able to keep it wound up on the high line? And Yep. Able to maintain there. It's become the Parker and Giglio show this race. He's going to take a look again heading down to turn number 1. Parker's going to chop that off. Giglio swings back out to get his arc into the corner.
We're not halfway through this race yet, so still a lot to do.
We will be very soon.
At least 2 pit stops left.
Probably 3, I think. And 2 sounds right. If they go far enough here, I think that, yeah, two would work. But if they get a yellow, they'll probably come in for tires late. It all depends on where the caution comes, if they come.
If it comes, yep.
Would not be the first time we ran a caution-free race in this series.
I'll stay.
Cliver's brought his car to pit road, the 4 machine. Pits out of the 9th position. One of our Fort Worth screen printing Xfinity Series playoff drivers. Brings his Mustang down to the attention of his crew. Lap 72. Right at that halfway marker. Assume we'll get 4 tires and fuel there. Parker. This is sad. This is called breathing room, but this is about the farthest we've seen Giglio away from his back bumper in a while.
Just looks like Giglio's trying to get another run at it again because he's closed right back in through the turn.
Yeah, I think he's just learning and trying to set him up for later. Giglio, a very cerebral driver. He's always thinking, seeing what cars do and how they react and where he puts his car. Got him closing right back in. He's sideways coming out of the corner though. Able to keep the power down. Tires won't like that too much. Let's take a little trip through the field while these two work it out up front. Looks like we have J Munch on pit road. As I say that, 69 brings his car to pit road. So the pit cycles are getting started in earnest now. Still Wes Parker out front of Blake Giglio. Giglio to his inside now. Trying to take the spot away before we get into the pit cycle. It's like Cliff Mullins on those new tires, trying to blow through safely and carefully. We'll probably turn left under Giglio on the exit here as the 22 Parker saw Giglio go by and comes to the pit road, leaving Giglio on track. Parker going to take a 1 lap shorter cycle than Giglio. Giglio may not be too happy about that. Looks like Hoistman has stayed out as well. Travis Martin brought his down. Ethan Evers is on pit road.
97 pitting.
Giglio's going to want to get around Mullins somehow. I'll let him through. He does. And he is also pitting.
Comes Giglio to pit road. You heard Hoistman say he's bringing his to pit road. So 1 lap later for the 16 and 97 and 44. See Corey Deal sliding it in there.
Bit of a slide for Giglio on entry, but he got it stopped.
Deal made it a lot of ground right there. See Scott Elston stays on track. As is JR Deal. Those two were the last 2 to pit last cycle.
85 pitting.
Elston's calling himself in this time. We'll see what JR does. JR stays on track. That should give him a race lead once he gets to the end of pit road here, and does so. And Giglio not too far behind him. It's
Here
not going
comes
to
Parker.
take too long there. Parker stayed out on track for one extra, or
No,
pitted
they're
one lap earlier.
Just gonna be side by side, and Parker's just gonna get him.
You say just, this is probably the biggest gap he's seen in quite a while between the two. I'm sure Giglio will be right back to his bumper relatively soon. Meanwhile, Deal stays out on track. He's only 2 seconds ahead of our leaders and quickly shrinking with those older tires. There are our two leaders behind him.
Does show how important this final pit stop at the end of this run could end up being.
Whoever gets to pit road first will probably end up with the track position. But then they have to make sure they don't pit too short and burn the tires off by the end. Deal still out on track.
Going by the last couple of runs, I'm going to say that lap 110 is going to be the critical lap.
See our leaders closing in. Well, our second and third place cars closing in on our leader. It's like Deal's coming to pit road this time. Overshoots it. He slowed it down, brought it to the bottom, overshot it. So that gives the lead back to Parker and Giglio a little bit unceremoniously, but there they are back out front. Deal going to go around one more lap. Gap sitting at 3/10 between our front runners. Let's check on Deal, see if he's able to get it woed down this time. Able to do so safely, brings his number 9 to pit road and drops him out of the third spot. So Hoytsman now up to the third spot. Travis Martin currently 4th. Corey Deal in 5th. Justin Wilkinson riding in a quiet 6th tonight. Ethan Evers in 7th. Cody Cliver 8th. Joel Munchell taking over 9th as JR Deal sits on pit road, and Cliff Mullins going to take over 10th. And one lap down, you have Jeremy Scher and Scott Elston rounding out the cars still running out of the race tonight. TJ Floyd, William Smith, and Daniel Llewellyn have brought their cars to the garage. Battle is once again heating up front. These two cannot get away from each other. Makes it entertaining for us. What do you think, Will? Who's going to prevail over this fuel run between the two?
I feel like Giglio, I've obviously known Blake longer than Wesley, but I feel like he's a very smart driver with his fuel runs. He knows exactly what he needs to do and when. So I feel like Blake might have the slightest of advantages coming into the final pit stop, but it may not even mean anything as they get back out on the track off pit road.
That's a good point. Had to take a little hydration break. Wes Parker and Blake Giglio. Wow, I can't talk all of a sudden. Hydration bad for me, apparently.
Giggly slow.
Well, I don't call him that because he's anything but. I can't be slower than him and call him that, you know?
I am, and I do.
Yeah, well, we're different people. I'm just wondering where Giglio's going to make his move, because it seems like Parker's, I'm not trying to say blocking, but he's a little bit of defensive driving. Like, he seems to park the bus at the bottom of the corner, try to make Giglio go the highway around. And while Giglio can get a good run off the corner on the high side, I don't know if he can make the full pass on the high side.
Wonder if maybe he just wants to stay behind, doesn't want to risk Parker getting an advantage on pit road again.
That could be.
Because obviously it's easier for your race to be in your own hands when you're in that second place car, because you can follow the leader if they go in, but they can't exactly follow you.
Right. We've run 86 laps so far, still green flag the entire race. Very impressive show our drivers are putting on a tricky concrete 1.3 mile track. Let's kind of take a trip as these two ride nose to tail. There's Hoytsma in third. He is 2.3 seconds back of Giglio. And within a second of him, you have Travis Martin in the 63 and Corey Deal in the 44, trying to run down Hoytsma. That is your top 5. Justin Wilkinson enjoying the 6th spot all alone. He's 2 seconds back, and then 4 seconds back of him. You have Ethan Evers in that 3. 2 seconds back to Cody Cliver in the 4. 5 seconds back to find J Munch in the 69. He's dealing with the lap machine of Scott Elston. Cliff Mullins, the last car in the lead lap, in 10th spot. Spit and Venom Chevrolet. First car lap down, Jeremy Scherer, the 15 Ally Ford. Yeah, JR Deal, currently in 12th, was our race leader before that pit stop. Has fallen back to a lap down through the pit cycles there. But now he has the freshest tires, so we'll see if he can make up ground, get up to the lucky dog spot, or even unlap himself through this run. And Scott Elston, currently in the 13th spot. Last car still running in the race. Brett Suggs, thank you so much for the raid as we enjoy the Fort Worth screen printing Xfinity Series playoffs race from Nashville Superspeedway. Currently have 53 laps remaining in this one. Wes Parker and Blake Giglio have been putting on a show up front. These two nose to tail. Just got your biggest dub ever. Sounds great. Where'd you get the win in, bud? Meanwhile, this gap maintaining about that 1/10 to 2/10 range.
Giglio is starting to look to the apron through the tri-oval a little bit.
Hey, winning the Icebreaker 200. Congrats, man. It's big time. Getting that fixed SLM money race. Heck yeah. Congrats, man. That's awesome. Thanks for the shout out, Murr. 52 to go here from Nashville. Wes Parker leading in that 22-10-10 machine, opening round of the playoffs for the Sidewinder Racing Leagues this week. All 5 of our leagues kick off the playoffs this week. Had a great one in ARCA last night. We got this Xfinity race tonight, Cup racing tomorrow, Trucks Thursday, and we have a Legends series that runs on Saturdays.
I wouldn't have called the ARCA race last night great, but
it was great up front.
It was.
We won't mention the rest of the race.
Not that I saw any of it.
Oh, you can go back and watch the VOD. It's okay.
I don't think I want to.
Giglio just seems like he's going to school right now. He's just putting his car in different places, different lines, trying to see where he can gain an advantage on Parker. As you said, he hit the apron through the front stretch that time, trying to learn anything he can. Can his car handle it? Will it gain an advantage? Just trying to see where he can gain, what he can get away with before that final pit stop.
The apron is also asphalt compared to the concrete of the regular track.
Catching Cliff Mullins here. That is the 10th place machine, last car on a lead lap.
This is exactly how Blake got through last time, was coming up on Cliff.
Giglio looking to the middle. He thought better of it, but you saw him looking. Giglio nearly taking it 3 wide there. Thought better of it. Tucks back in behind Wes Parker. He definitely had a really good run. I just don't think it would have worked out too well for the 3 of them.
Yeah, one person moves up or one person moves down there and you're all screwed in a 3-wide situation.
Then it just comes a messy sandwich. Nobody's happy about it. Those that just joined us, you see the yellow name banners on the playoff cars and the yellow across the front of them. So the 22 is a playoff driver. 16, Blake Giglio, not a playoff driver here tonight. Giglio missed a good chunk of the season with other obligations he had to deal with, but we're glad to have him running with us tonight. As you can see, he has plenty of speed, keeping our leader Wes Parker honest. Parker did lead most of the regular season standings. Giglio right on that back bumper. Have to wonder what Parker's thinking seeing that in his mirror. Parker now all the way to the apron.
Feel like that might have been a bit of a premeditated move, trying to block if Blake was going for the pass there.
Looks like the 19. Yes, the 19 brings his car to pit road and retires, or tows. Very strange situation there. Could have had something going on in real life. Never know. Giglio all over the back once more of Wes Parker. Trying to peek to the inside. Is he going to be able to hold it down there? Oh my goodness. Very little room between the two. Wilkinson has retired his car from the race. Very surprising situation there. Playoff driver Justin Wilkinson going to be credited with 13th tonight as he brings that 10/10 machine to pit road and retires. We'll have to find out post-race what happened there, and we'll let you know in Discord. Parker, meanwhile, getting a tiny bit of breathing room over Giglio. Giglio not letting him get too far away, though. No idea, Jake? Yeah, it was weird. He just left on your end, too? Wow. Weird. But, you know, life happens, man. Never know. Hopefully it's nothing dramatic. Something minor. So, take a look back once more as Parker and Giglio continue the same old show that they've been doing. Hoytsma in the 3rd spot. Relatively comfortable. Yeah, Travis Martin, Corey Deal closing in a battle for the 4th spot between the two. Then a long way back, you got Ethan Evers in the 6th spot now after the retiree of the 19. Cody Cliver's moved up to the 7th spot. Jay Munch now in the 8th spot. Cliff Mullins now in 9th. 1 lap down, and J.R. Deal now in the top 10, 1 lap down. Scott Elston continues along in the 11th spot. Jeremy Scherer in 12th. Then out of the race, Justin Wilkinson, TJ Floyd, William Smith, and Daniel Llewellyn. As we haven't missed a thing up front. These two are still nose to tail. Working lap 101 of 143 tonight. We do suspect they have one more pit stop to make.
And for those who have all just joined from that raid, we do reckon that the critical lap for that final pit stop is going to be around lap 110, give or take.
So sometime in the next 10 laps, we expect to see these guys peel off, come get their last set of tires. Short pitting definitely a thing here. As you can see, track position's been very critical for Wes Parker, staying ahead of Blake Giglio. Then once we get to that last stop, all bets are off. We know nobody's saving anything. Might be saving for that particular run, but they're not going to be holding back or riding behind just for preservation's sake. Giglio is still able to wrap that bottom a little better than Parker. Let's go on board with Giglio, see what we can see. He's riding on the back of that 22 machine. Right up against him. Hear those tires squealing. Giglio peeking to the inside. We're going to get an honest run here. Is he going to tuck back in line? Giglio dives it in there. We know what it looks like to take the lead from the cockpit. Giglio getting out front. Now, was this a maneuver to take the lead, or was this the 22 playing coy so that he can control what lap he pits on? What do you think, Will Spark? If you were out front, would you give up that spot so that you can control a pit lap?
I think so, yeah. If I was in Wes's spot there and I was leading, I would probably be giving that spot up to Blake. Especially if I knew it accidentally happened the last run and worked really well in my favor. So I would definitely be doing... If Wes has just done that, I would definitely be doing what he just did.
So it could be strategic. Could just be that Blake Giglio was tired of riding behind him. Hard to say until we talk to the drivers post-race. Up front it is. At least these two have been making it interesting, Ranchi. Did you just get tired of the track? I know you're retired and in 15th tonight. Giglio getting a little bit of space over Parker, but not a lot. It's like Cliver and Elston have brought their cars to pit road already. Cliver from the 7th spot now. Ghostman stays on track. Looks like Jeremy Scher's done his pit service. He's back out on track in 12th. While these two cycle around, we'll take a look at our pit tracker. See, the last one to pit in the top 7 was JR Deal. He's been trying to make up ground though. As he ran long, he lost a lot of time on the older tires. Ethan Evers, first one that has completed a pit stop in the 8th spot, as well as Cliver, Mullins, Elston, and Scher. So from 8th to 12th have already completed their final stop. As Ethers gets by JR Deal. 3 Machine getting by the 9. That'll move Evers up to the 7th spot.
69 pin.
That is 6th place Joel Munch saying he is coming down. That Arc.io Toyota.
That might have been my bad, Luca. If it was, I apologize.
There's somebody apologizing to our 3rd place car, Lucas Hoisman.
This is the critical lap, lap 110. Anywhere from here on, expect the leaders to start pitting and making this final pit stop. It's going to be really important for the track position.
We'll keep an eye on our front machines, see who makes that move first. Giglio has to be paranoid that the 22 is going to duck down before him. Giglio running extra low just in case. You noticed that?
Yeah, he's definitely got that paranoia of...
He's thinking about it.
Not wanting Parker to go in. He's definitely fully prepared to just slam on that brake pedal.
That was really entertaining to watch him go so low out of 4.
So low, and he also lost a lot of speed. Almost looks like they're trying to bait each other as to where they go.
Yeah, Parker wants to let him go a little bit. Giglio not letting him get that gap between the two. I think they're going to be falling back to Hoytsma a little bit, but they had such a gap. That gap's come down, definitely. It was over 4, now it's down to 3.7 between them. Just playing games between the two.
They're both slowing down through 3 and 4. Yeah, they're playing that game of cat and mouse as to when Wesley's going to pit. Is Blake going to pit first and ruin his strategy?
Parker should try to catch him slowing down too much and just get to his inside. Then he can't come down. Went through at full speed this time.
Still going round.
If I'm Hoytsma, I would come down now. Use that advantage over the two.
He's at a huge advantage if he pits here, especially with this game they're playing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Hoytsma could take big advantage of this. Looks like Corey Deal's showing up, coming out of the pits there. I'm not seeing.
Could
it
even see that 4 or 5 car battle come back if these two start playing the games too much. Just
Whoa!
as we say that,
Parker
Wesley
coming down.
Parker's in.
Is he going
It's
to
a
make it?
big
He's in the
slide into
grass.
That's
Wes-
going to be an unsafe pit entry.
Unsafe pit entry for the 22. Too many games between the two. Parker trying to get everything he could out of it. Did not go well for the 22 at all.
That changes the entire complexion of the race. He's gone through the grass and missed the cones. So it'll be a penalty here at the stop as well for Wesley Parker.
And that's going to let Blake Giglio.
Yeah, Giglio pretty much has a freebie pit as long as he doesn't mess anything up. He comes in. As long as he doesn't speed, which he
Hoytsman
does not.
still out on track. Very surprising. Everyone else has come down. Now Hoytsman brings his machine down as well. Good. I was very confused why he was staying out.
The games they were playing cost Parker dearly, and I'm sure Giglio's glad about that. That was a very smart thing to be doing, I think. It was
Definitely.
risky, but it was very smart.
Definitely. Here comes everyone to their pit boxes. Of course, iRacing giving us a fantastic camera here. Thanks, iRacing. We just want to see him on pit road. There we go. So the 22, 16, 97, all on pit road. You see the 22 going a lap down from the penalty. Giglio already out of his box. Tough break for Wes Parker. Been leading the championship all season. Not the way you want to start the playoffs. Taking a pit road penalty, falling back. Has to be beating himself up over that one. So Giglio, by being one of the last cars to pit road, stays in the lead, doesn't have to run anybody down. Corey Deal currently in the second spot now.
No problem.
Lucas Hoytsman trying to run him down. Hoytsman looking to the inside of Wes Parker. Parker, of course, not on the lead lap now. So that not for position. We have...
It was an incredible fight between Giglio and Parker, and hats off to Giglio for the moves he was making there towards the end of that last run. Ends up costing Parker his race.
Looks like Giglio's putting a little space over Corey Deal. Got nearly a 2-second lead now. Then about the same distance from second place Corey Deal back to Lucas Hoytsman, the 97. So now with the situation with Parker going down, Travis Martin rides in the 4th spot. Newcomer Ethan Evers, he's only in his second or third race with the Sidewinder group here. He is up to the 5th spot. You got Cody Cliver now riding P6. J. Hardeal hanging in there up to the 7th spot. Joel Munchel in the Arc-IO Toyota now in the 8th spot. Cliff Mullins 9th, 1 lap down on the Spit and Venom Chevy. And Wes Parker, after the penalty, finds himself in 10th. He is 4 seconds behind Cliff Mullins. We'll see if he can run him down, try to recover a little bit. J Munch getting by the 9. Looks like the 9 just now getting to his pit box. You know, he's been running along quite often. This will probably cycle him down towards the back of the pack. Not sure with 25 to go when he gets back out, he'll have enough time to really make anything with the tires here. And strategy just not going the way of the 9 car with the lack of cautions tonight. Only 25 laps to go in this race, 143 laps, and we have not seen a yellow yet. And really a testament to these drivers. So Giglio...
Because as I said, this is a track that's very easy to wreck at, and we're probably going to have a green race.
You trying to jinx us? Blake Giglio enjoys a 1.5 second lead, so that's come down a little bit. Not sure if Giglio is just protecting his stuff or if Corey Deal's making some inroads. We'll keep an eye on that gap. But it was at 1.9, now at 1.5. Something to keep tabs on. As the 9 comes back out on fresh tires, so those two are brothers. We'll see if JR is able to help Corey in any way. Probably not going to give him too much of a fight, though, as they're not on the same lap. JR falls to the 12th spot with that pit stop, 2 laps down now. See, Hoyst was now clear of the traffic he was dealing with. He's now 2 seconds back. So maybe Giglio is just saving his stuff because Lucas is about the same distance to Corey, and Corey is catching Blake. And 1.3 back to that white, black, and teal machine, the 63 of Travis Martin. That's currently our 4th place car. He makes his way under the lap machine of Cliff Mullins.
Thank you, sir.
Gives him a thank you. Always the gentleman.
Yep.
Ethan Evers in the top 5 in that Elite Performance Industries Chevrolet Camaro. You have Cody Cliver in the 6th spot, just kind of hanging in there. Everyone else is falling to the wayside around him and moved up to the 6th spot. Great run for Cody. J Munch currently 7th, last car on the lead lap. He's 7 seconds behind Cody Cliver. Got some ground to make up if he wants to move up. Cliff Mullins, the aforementioned Cliff Mullins, 1 lap down. He's in the 8th spot. Wes Parker has gotten up to the 9th spot. JR Deal looks like he has retired his car from the race. Not sure what happened to JR. We'll take a look here. Maybe got a black flag and gave up. Don't see anything egregious showing up in our scoring there. I can't talk again. Blake Giglio, 1.7. The gap now back to Corey Deal. Jeremy Scherer moving his car up the track. Scherer will go 2 laps down in that Ally Ford. 20 laps to go for Blake Giglio. A great looking Premier Chevrolet. Giglio not a playoff driver, as you see his name is in white on the windshield. But Giglio here to...
He's running the old AJ Allmendinger 16.
Yes. I helped him get that. But yeah, he's not in the playoffs, so Corey Deal is our leading playoff driver in the 2nd spot, that 44 Purple People Eater as he calls it. Got the white wheels on it. It's like JR has called it a night as he is coming in with the raid. JR, man, tough long race, but going to be credited with 12th. Thanks for the raid, my man. Sorry it wasn't a great night for you. Lucas Hoitzman now closing in on Corey Deal. Was 2 seconds back, now 1 second back of that 44. You hear Corey Deal saying, "Go away." Hoitzman closing in. Corey Deal not a fan. Not a fan of that happening. Yeah, it's not an easy car track combo, for sure. Hoitzman now, no cars between him. He can see the target. Corey Deal 2nd. Lucas Hoitzman 3rd. It's probably going to be the best battle for us to keep an eye on as we head towards the close of this race. Although Travis Martin's not too far behind. He is in the 4th spot. But these 3 all within 2 seconds of one another. Rowdy, thanks for the shout out for JR there. 16 to go. Blake Giglio enjoying a 2.4 second lead. What do you think, Will? You think anyone's got anything for Blake, or is he just on cruise control?
I reckon he's on cruise control. I reckon a couple laps ago we might have seen if Corey or Lucas had anything for him. I think Lucas, if this race had an extra 20 laps, I think Lucas would have something for him. But yeah, I think he's on cruise control now, and as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes, I think he's home.
As long as we don't get any surprise yellows. Made it this long. I don't reckon we'll get any more, but you never know. That gap closing quickly between Hoitzman and Deal. Now getting down to that half-second range. Now under as Deal blinks out. Not a good time for that to happen. Wait for
Corey go. Oh, too bad.
Oh, he's gone again. And he's
I
back.
have ugly internet connection with me alone.
And he's gone. We'll just keep an eye on Hoyta. Won't be able to show you the gap if we do that, but we'll see the 44.
Like it cleared up.
Right, now let's try. There we go. Definitely closing down. Now under 3/10. Hoitzman closing in a hurry. Deal hoping the laps click off faster. Oh no, not again.
Looks to be the problem area looks to be turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely in and out there. You hear a bunch of wall contacts. We think it's a close battle. Tough to say.
Hoytsma's really closing up on that bumper, and he's almost completely gone. This would be pretty scary for Lucas.
Definitely. And Corey. 2 playoff drivers, you don't want to throw it all away here.
My interconnection's just so.
I think Corey went high there.
My internet goes.
Corey went high there, giving Lucas second spot. It's a nice gentlemanly gesture there. Travis Martin now to try and reel in Corey Deal. He's about 1 second back. Deal still struggling with the internet issues.
Doesn't
you see
sound too great.
Doesn't. You just keep seeing the pit sign show up and you hear wall smacks. Poor Corey struggling with that net connection right now. You have to feel for him. You know how frustrating that can be as a driver.
I know it better than most.
Definitely. Got that long distance Australia connection. There's nothing you can really do sometimes.
Sad thing is Australia's connection to the US servers is often better than to our own servers.
Oh gosh. That is sad. 10 to go. 10 to go for Blake Giglio. Just kind of out for a Sunday cruise now with that 3.8 second lead. Travis Martin has gotten around Corey Deal. It's like Corey's a little more solid right now. Don't want to jinx him though.
Wait, don't look at you the bottom on the next time.
J Munch gives Giglio the bottom, and that might be the last lap car he'll get past.
I was wondering who that was talking. It didn't sound like anybody's voice I
Joel,
recognized.
that was fun there for a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't get away from you for a while.
Checking in on our guys still running. Wes Parker, last car 1 lap down after that penalty. Just tough luck for him. Got Cliff Mullins in 8th, J Munch in 7th, just going a lap down. And Cody Cliver in 6th. Ethan Evers all by himself in 5th. And you got Corey and Travis Martin. And a little bit ahead of them, Lucas Hoytsma. Those 3 kind of close together. And then about 4.2 seconds to our leader, Blake Giglio. Giglio working now with 7 laps to go as he comes across the straight. Things all going Giglio's way to open up this round of the playoffs, but as we mentioned, he was tied up in other projects early in the season and did not make the playoffs. Not in this series, so he is running without the playoff banners. Currently, Lucas Hoytsma is set to gain the most points outside of the bonus points. He is set to make the most of his finish in the 2nd spot, highest playoff driver. Travis Martin, the series manager. Always love having him out here with us. He is currently in the 3rd spot, 2nd highest playoff driver. And then Corey Deal. That would be your podium of playoff drivers. He is in the 4th spot. Then another guy not running for playoffs right now, Ethan Evers. He is new to the series. It's about his, 2nd or 3rd race. So he's out here making a good showing. A lot of the regulars had to miss tonight for one reason or another, so a relatively short field. Not what we're used to here, but everyone making the best of it. Cody Cliver currently in the 6th spot. Doing his best out there.
Travis, I'll give you the inside of turn 3.
Sounds like Travis is catching up to the 85. 85 takes it up high, letting Martin have that preferred
Hey,
line.
shot. Yep.
Love to have the sportsmanship. Hoytsma's actually not making any inroads on Giglio, so I don't think that 20 laps would have helped.
Yeah.
Giglio is just taking off.
When he was following Corey, he looked like he was going to be able to have something for Blake if the race went longer, but now that Corey's out of his way, it doesn't seem like that.
Definitely not.
Blake's pulling away, if anything.
Yep, Blake is putting a bigger and bigger margin on that board.
3 laps to go for Blake.
143 lap race. 140 are complete. Funny how that math works, isn't it? Giglio making his way down the backstretch here at Nashville. Taking it down to turn number 3. That 16 car has been lightning fast all race. Been really entertaining to see what could have happened if we didn't get that penalty out of Parker. Parker, I'm sure, has to be kicking himself, taking that penalty riding first or second most of this race. See Hoisma catching up to Joel Munchel to not for position, but interesting to see cars side by side. 69 gets up and out of the way for him. White flag is out for Blake Giglio. Final lap of the race. I'm sure he is excited to see it. Making his way down the backstretch for the final time.
Smart strategy all the way through the race, and I think he really deserves this win. He's had to be smart, and he's had to time his runs right perfectly.
Giglio brings his car out of turn number 4, doing a little bobbing and weaving as he heads to the start-finish line. Blake Giglio getting it done, taking victory at Nashville. And we do go green flag to checkered flag without a yellow. Great win for Blake Giglio. Lucas Hoisman brings it home 2nd. Travis Martin gets the 3rd place. Corey Deal brings it home 4th. Ethan Evers brings it home in the 5th spot. Cody Cliver going to come across the line in 6th. J Munch 7th. Cliff Mullins going to get credit with 8th. Wes Parker, a disappointing night, bringing it home in 9th. Has to be frustrated. Scott Elston gets the top 10. Jeremy Scherer, the last car to finish the race, gets 11th. J.R. Deal out of the race 12th. Justin Wilkinson retired 13th. T.J. Floyd pulled his car to the garage in 14th. William Smith gets credited with 15th. And Daniel Llewellyn, the first car out of the race, credited with 16th tonight. Jump back with Giglio, get his celebration going in here. Top 3 drivers, if you would please join the driver's waiting room. As Cliff Mullins gives him a shot, helping him celebrate those 2 teammates over at CTC. And
all right, let's get Travis in here.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, hello.
T-Mart is DG and Will. You got a copy, buddy?
How about it, boys?
How about it? Well, you had to be proud of your league running tonight. The green flag run at Nashville. That's nothing to shake a stick at, buddy. And let's take it from a manager standpoint at first. What'd you think of the race?
That was a lot of fun, man. Everybody was racing clean, very respectful. Couldn't ask for, better race, honestly. That was a heck of a race. I'm sweating after that. I was very very tired after that one. It was a lot of fun,
a lot of labor, huh?
Yeah. It's just a lot more braking action here than, your typical mile and a half.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, I don't know. A little more. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a baby. Maybe a little bit more.
I won't call you a baby, but you do have a pretty face.
Travis,
We'll give you that.
Travis, I'm interested. How are you finding the turns on exit? Was it slidey like it usually is at Nashville, or is the B car a whole different beast here?
You really had to be careful with the throttle, especially out of 4. It wanted to, if you got into it a little too late and tried to drive it back down to the white, it would start to kick loose, and then if you got into it a little too early, it would push up towards the wall. So it feels like a pretty technical track if you want to have a good, consistent lap.
Well, bud, tell me kind of how your strategy was and how it unplayed. It seemed like it was pretty straightforward, just 3-stopper, and kind of seemed everyone was on the same page. Maybe if you beat someone to the pit road by a lap, you gain a little bit of time, but you give it up at the end of the run. Just kind of what was your mindset pushing through the strategy tonight?
Run it till it was dry, basically. It was kind of cool. We got to see Corey try to do the undercut there, and he got out about 3 seconds ahead of me. But then I think his tires kind of fell off there towards the end, and unfortunately he was having some internet issues. So I don't know that we really got to see the true picture. Yeah, it was really interesting. I was wondering if people would try to do some undercuts there. I know one time it kind of worked for me against Lucas, but we saw how that played out there. He was able to save tire a little bit better than I was. So, really a track where you had to save your tires. It was hard. It was fun.
Yes, sir. You got any shout outs you want to throw out before we let you get out of here?
course, man, I got to shout my 10/10ths boys. Thanks for the support, guys. McConeySetupShop.com. If you want to run some open races and you don't know where to start, McConeySetupShop.com has you covered. Use code GHOST for 10% off of your total order. And, of course, you boys for putting on this broadcast. I really do appreciate it. Can't wait to go back and watch it. I'm sure it was awesome.
And don't forget 1023 graphics, because that car is beautiful.
Oh, baby. Look at it. Would you just look at it?
Would you just look
it's
at
so
it?
Beautiful.
Look
Would
at
you
that.
just look at it? And sometimes I walk up to it and just say, would you just look at it?
All right, brother. Congrats on your podium finish. We'll let you get out of here tonight and have a great night.
Thanks, dudes. Y'all too.
That is Travis Martin bringing it home in P3 tonight. Great run for him. And if you would go ahead and grab Lucas for me. Lucas, DG, you got a copy?
I got you.
Well, that was one hell of a race, and it looked like you were destined for P3 for a while there until you were gifted a P2. Definitely never look a gift horse in the mouth, as they say. Going to take that one and go to the bank with it, getting the highest finish of any playoff driver. Tell me what your thoughts were on the night.
Mostly terrible on the long run. Beginning of the race was a real struggle for me. I could not figure the car out. I got every pit stop I'd get better at tire saving, but I just somehow still didn't have the long run speed, even though I had better tires. I was decent on the short run, but I never got that yellow to help me out with that. So it was a good win for Blake. Yeah, I definitely got gifted that P2. When I saw Wesley come out there with the P9 and a lap down, I was saying, heck yeah, I'll get number one playoff driver, and screw Blake, because he ain't in the playoffs.
Right. Well, yeah, you'll be really entertained if you see how it happens when you go back and watch the replay. Very surprising how that went down. But yeah, great run for you. You got the shout outs you want to throw out there for us?
Shout out CTC Racing, Limber 12 on the hood, and Quinn Newton. He wanted a shout out.
There you go.
He
There you
wanted a
go,
shout
Quinn.
out.
Just for you, Quinn.
Lucas, one question before we let you go. The corners, we saw you especially struggling with the exits a lot. Was that really a strategy thing of trying to push the car in certain spots, or was it just a struggle with Nashville as a whole?
It's just something I've always struggled with Nashville. I never know when to get on the throttle. So the first run was the absolute worst. I think I had 60% on my right front.
Oof.
Yeah, I was just getting on the throttle too early, and then I'd have to let off, and it was a terrible time.
Hang. All right, bud. We're gonna let you get out of here. Congrats on your second place finish. Best of the playoff drivers, and we'll catch you next week, bud. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. See you.
All right, let's go get our winner.
Let's talk to Blake.
Blake, DG, and Will, you got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
Well, looks like you get it done once again. Unfortunate that you're not in the playoffs, because you definitely belong there with the speed tonight. Kind of tell me what your thoughts were as you're heading through the race, and definitely
Don't tell him that.
the mind games that you were playing with Wes Parker with that last pit stop. It was very entertaining to watch, and just kind of want to know what was going through your head as you saw that happen.
Yeah, well, I got new pedals today, so, that was a struggle. I got the TCLM, so after coming from a Logitech pedal, you can imagine how, it's just, you have to be a lot more, you have to apply more pressure, and it was definitely hard to get used to, but we got it figured out in the middle of the race, and I was able to roll Simon really good tonight, and I think that is what kept us with Wesley, and I got into him a couple times, not hard, but just enough to let him know, hey, I'm still here. But he's just so consistent, man. I don't think I was going to be able to pass him, to be honest with you. It's hard to pass Wesley. He hits his marks almost every single corner, and I couldn't take advantage of the places where I was good. And coming to that last stop, I knew that how we were better on the long run, it seemed. So if I could stay out an extra lap, it'd be all right. And I don't know, I think Mr. Ghostman was telling me that he got a penalty. So that kind of solved that issue, and we just had to, roll there to the end.
Blake, so that last strategy run, the coming to the final pit stop, that was beautiful to watch what you guys were doing there. The cat and mouse game, and what you actually made him do is you made him second guess his pit entry, so he ended up having to cut across the grass and he got an unsafe pit entry. So you really played the game really well, and it ended up winning you the race there, I think.
Yeah, normally I'm the one that always gets tricked. So I'm glad that we were able to trick someone else, and shout out to Wesley for racing it clean there. That was fun. You know what I mean? We were back and forth, and we really didn't make that much contact, and we gave each other enough room to keep it green. And shout out to everyone for keeping this race green. I mean, that was a fast race, and it was very clean.
All right, one thing I do have to ask, like, what was going through your mind as you passed him heading towards that pit stop? Do you think he let you by, or did you think that you had passed him?
I was sitting there like, I don't know what to do. I was like, well, he's behind me, so he's going to pit first. But I
Yep.
knew that was okay. I knew that if he pit first, because I was really good getting into pit road. So I knew if I could just stay out one more lap, we'd be fine. But I knew he let me by. I lapped to his inside. I heard him come off the gas, and I didn't hear him come back on. So I knew he gave us it, and then he was all over us. So I don't know, man. I don't know if we were better or we just got lucky.
Yeah, it seemed like he tried to maybe back up a little bit from you so he can get that gap and get on a pit road without you. And then it looked like maybe you were backing up to him a little bit, making sure he didn't get that opportunity. Was that kind of what was going on, or were you full throttle there?
I was trying to stay near him. I didn't want him to pit.
we had a feeling that was what was going on. It was really
So
entertaining.
much fun.
Well, you guys had one hell of a battle, and you came out victorious tonight. Congratulations on the win. Will, you got any final thoughts for Blake?
Not really, just congrats again. It was a really exciting battle to watch, especially from our perspective. And yeah, otherwise, congrats on the win. Sucks you're not a playoff driver, hot. But yeah, other than that, good race.
You got any shout outs you want to throw out there for us, Blake?
Yeah, we have Premier Racing setups in the car. They give me all my setups for my open races. You guys broadcasting, you guys do a great job with that. Sidewinder as a whole, a lot of great leagues that we run every single night of the week. It's a lot of fun there. Shout out to Xerox Designs, getting my paint dialed up tonight. Really enjoy this paint. I think I'm going to run that a lot more often. And yeah, just everyone that lets us do this and let's have some fun.
All right, that's your winner, Blake Giglio, tonight, bringing it home in the top spot. He doesn't care he's not a playoff driver. He's taking that trophy home. Will, any final thoughts on the race?
It went about the opposite I expected. Half waiting for a caution fest and half not at the same time, and ended up obviously going green the whole way. But I did call that corner.
We're losing Will. Keep cutting in and out on us.
All right. Basically, I think you guys have got me now.
Yep.
I did try and call that it was going to be a wreck fest, and it ended up obviously not being. It went green the whole way. But what I did call was that it was corner exit was the most important thing, and strategy ended up being the name of the game. And that final pit stop, as I said, was going to be pretty important. Ended up winning Blake the race.
Yep, and it was very entertaining from my perspective. I didn't have a whole lot of expectation going into it because I've only had a couple of truck races here, and of course, trucks are a whole different animal here. You can beat and bang and drive the hell out of them and nothing happens, so it's a good time. But yeah, great entertainment race for the value. I mean, a lot of people get bored with the green flag run, but I thought that was amazing to watch how Parker and Giglio kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was rather disappointed with the penalty Parker picked up because I really wanted to see how it played out going towards the end of that. But yeah. Kudos to Giglio for tricking his opponent to getting that penalty, and fair play. Anything else before we head out, bud?
No, I just want to agree with you that the truck is a really good car to drive.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to
not biased at all.
Conclude the broadcast as we get to the point where we have to say the obligated things. This has been an iRacing.com event. You can go to iRacing.com and buy these cars and this track. Come out and race with us. If you head to dgsracing.com, click on the big red snake. That'll get you over to our Discord where you can come and join us. Sign up for any of the leagues we run. Monday night ARCA, Tuesday night Xfinity, as you saw here. Wednesday night Cup Series. We have a Thursday Truck Series, and then on Saturday we run a fun little Legends race. And then, of course, if you're ever available on the Friday nights, we just have some goofy community races we run, come to get together and put a bunch of random cars on free tracks, and we have a good time there. So you're welcome to come join us at any of those events. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you tomorrow over on Clint's channel. He is going to do our Cup Series broadcast as we kick off the playoffs over there, and then we'll be right back here Thursday night for the truck broadcast playoffs. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will conclude the broadcast.